It's been a common theme over the last couple of weeks, where every single video I publish, without fail, there's multiple comments in there telling me that PUBG is dead. Or at least it will be once Blackout goes live with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I've also heard the same thing from Battlefield fans, Fortnite fans, and the list just goes on and on. So it brings up an interesting question and an interesting topic to discuss. What game will kill PUBG? Now before I give my answer, let's go over some of the biggest games coming out later on this year. We'll start it off with the most popular one right now, and the most popular comment that I see in all of my recent videos. Once Blackout comes out, PUBG is dead. And to that I say, I doubt it. Now there's no question that tons of players are going to play Blackout, and just the base Black Ops 4 multiplayer. But I would argue that it's not a direct PUBG replacement. I didn't pre-order Black Ops 4, as I feel like I'm kind of done with the Call of Duty franchise, and the best one I played, the one I played the most, was the original Call of Duty Black Ops. And I think Black Ops 2 was the last Call of Duty game I bought until Call of Duty World War II came out. I was one of the many players that got tricked into buying that game thinking that it was going to be a return to glory for Call of Duty. At least for average Call of Duty fans like myself. I wasn't a big Call of Duty fanboy or anything like that, and I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, but World War II definitely caught my attention. I enjoyed the campaign, I played it, and I liked it, and that was probably my favorite part of the game, but I just could not get into the multiplayer. It just seemed old and boring to me. I just didn't want to play it anymore, and I got sick of it. So when they announced Black Ops 4 was coming out, and it didn't have a single player campaign, and it was going to be multiplayer only, but still cost $60, loaded with microtransactions and all kinds of stuff, I decided right then that I wasn't going to touch it. Then they announced that they're going to have a Battle Royale mode called Blackout in the game. I'll admit that that piqued my interest just because I know that that game is going to be highly optimized, it's going to run a lot better than PUBG does, and if there's one thing that Call of Duty knows how to do, it's to make a fun shooter. But that's just it. I think that Call of Duty Blackout is going to be a fine mode, and there's going to be a lot of players that love it and stick to it and quit PUBG, and they'll just be done with it. But it's a more fun, arcadey style Battle Royale, or at least it seems that way to me. Like I said, I never played it, but I was able to see it quite a bit. I watched the big streamers play it, and I watched some other videos on it. And while it does look polished, it does look like it's a more trimmed down version of Battle Royale. The map doesn't seem as big. The play just seems too fast and unrealistic. The RNG looks like it can really screw you over with the different things like the mystery box and finding some weapons that are completely kitted out already without having to find attachments for those. And just the overall Call of Duty feel to it. If you didn't know you were watching a Battle Royale game mode, you would have thought you were just playing Call of Duty with the way everybody's sliding around, shooting people, and just, you know, the hit markers going off and everything. People with the armor making ting sounds as they're getting hit. It just seemed like a more arcade style Battle Royale game, and that's not really what I'm looking for. Fortnite had that, and I played Fortnite a little bit, but I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into the building. Fortnite is a very fine game, and I'm not going to diss it here. You're not going to find me making fun of Fortnite just because it's a direct competitor to PUBG. It just wasn't for me. I didn't want to build, I just wanted to shoot. And I wanted to think tactically and have to make tough decisions. And that's what I think PUBG does to stand out against other Battle Royale games. I don't think that Blackout is going to have the tactical decision making that PUBG has. I don't think that an average player like me is going to be able to get an upper hand on a much better player just with my positioning and the way that I play the game. In Blackout, it just seems that in order to be successful at the game, you're going to have to be really skilled and you're going to have to get lucky. But I don't see it as a direct replacement to PUBG. It has a lot of very similar elements, you could say, as far as the way the map moves, the way everything looks, but the looting, the attachments, everything just seems trimmed down. If you look at H1Z1 on PS4, it's kind of like that. It kind of dumbed it down for console compared to the PC H1Z1 experience. That's what Blackout reminded me of when I looked at it, when I thought, this looked like a dumbed down PUBG. And not dumbed down as far as it's not graphically superior, it's not a better game or anything like that. Just the way that it worked and the systems in the game, it just seemed like a less detailed version of a Battle Royale game. So will Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with the Blackout mode kill PUBG? No. It will take a lot of players, and a lot of players will decide to stick with Call of Duty instead of PUBG, but that's perfectly fine. There are different games for different people. Not everyone has to play the exact same thing. And not everybody just wants to stay with one game forever. They just want to constantly look for the new game, constantly look for those new experiences. Another new game coming out later on this year is Battlefield 5. And Battlefield 5 also has a Battle Royale mode called Firestorm. Not a lot has come out about Firestorm yet, but to my understanding, it's going to be another Battle Royale game mode that's pretty similar to PUBG and how everything works. But this one seems like it's not going to be as similar to PUBG that Call of Duty Blackout is. Plus, Battlefield 5 has all kinds of controversies going on with it right now. If you haven't kept up on that news, you can look on YouTube and just type in Battlefield 5 SJW or something like that, and you will get an unlimited amount of results to look at. So I'm not even sure at this point how popular Battlefield 5 is even going to be. Is Battlefield 5 going to kill PUBG? No. Fortnite. Fortnite is another game that will just not go away. Fortnite has overtaken PUBG and is more popular. Is Fortnite going to kill PUBG? No, because it hasn't yet. PUBG has had 9 million players on Xbox, and many million more on PC, and it's still very popular. But Fortnite is more popular, it has more players, and it has more devices that you can actually play it on. But with all this being said, Fortnite has not yet killed PUBG. PUBG is still running strong. Now the last very highly anticipated game that I want to talk about is a little bit of a different one. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this is a single player game, but it will have multiplayer in it at some point. This is going to draw a lot of people away for quite some time, and that's because it's going to be such an immersive story, such an immersive world, that you're going to have to play this thing probably 50 to 100 hours to get through everything that's inside it. I think just about every console owner is going to buy this game, PlayStation and Xbox, including myself, and it's a day one purchase for me, and I can tell you that I'm going to play it a lot. But it's also a single player game. Like I said, it's going to have multiplayer, kind of like GTA 5, and it's been rumored to have a Battle Royale mode of its own. But what will that entail, and is that going to be similar enough to PUBG to kill it off? No, I highly doubt it. If Red Dead Redemption 2 has a Battle Royale mode that is equal to PUBG as far as the detail and the strategy and everything that goes along with it, I will eat my words and just tell you that I was wrong flat out, but I highly doubt that a game that large, with all the different multiplayer things that it has, they're going to spend that much time on Battle Royale to fully cash in on the Battle Royale craze that's going on right now. I think if they're going to have a Battle Royale mode, it's going to be a very trimmed down, fun version, and it might have some things similar to Fortnite that make it more fun, but it's not going to be the more realistic shooter experience that PUBG has. So after talking about Call of Duty, Battlefield 5, Fortnite, and Red Dead Redemption 2, we've come to the conclusion, at least in my opinion, that none of these games are going to kill PUBG. But there is one game that can kill PUBG. One game out there that has the power to completely shut PUBG down and leave it in ruins. And that's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The only game, in my opinion, that can kill PUBG is PUBG itself. And let me explain what I mean as far as a game being dead. That phrase gets thrown around so loosely that I think people forget what it actually means to be a dead game. With all the comments saying that PUBG is dead right now, if you log on to PUBG either on Xbox or PC right now and you hit play or you hit start to try and join a match, how long does it take you to get into one? Now it might depend on what server you're playing on and when, but all I can provide you with is my experience with the North American servers on Xbox. If I log on to PUBG right now and I hit start to join a match, in less than a minute I will be queuing up for a match with 99 other people. And this seems to be any time during the day I can push that play button and without fail I will be in a match. That is not a dead game in my opinion. If your view of a dead game is just a game that's not as popular as it used to be, then you might want to redefine the phrase dead game, because dead to me means that I can't play it, and if I can play it, it takes me forever to actually get into a match. That's a dead game. If you want to see a dead game, go play The Culling. Go play The Culling 2, because the developers of that game drove that game into the ground with pushing out updates that people didn't want, not pushing out updates for months when there were glaring issues with the game. That's a dead game. Not PUBG, where I can go onto a match, pretty much go into any queue that I want, and be put into a game within 1 minute. But PUBG is the only game that can kill PUBG. Whether it's PUBG Corp just not listening to the consumers, whether it's the continuation of pushing out things that don't work. Say we get a patch and something just completely ruins the game. And I'm not talking about some small bug that is an inconvenience or that is fixed in a hotfix a couple days later. I'm talking about a major bug in the game where, say, auto fire doesn't work, something terrible, something really bad in the game, and then they don't fix it for 1 or 2 weeks. That's something that can kill a game, and that's something that can frustrate players and make them lose trust in the developers. There's a certain feeling that you get when you play PUBG. When you get late game, whether you're playing squads, duos, or solo, Once you get in that top 10, you start feeling a little bit different than you were before. You're more nervous, and you get a rush of adrenaline that's hard to replicate in other multiplayer games. And I've heard from multiple people, whether it's people on YouTube, people on Twitter, some big streamers, they say that Blackout and some of these other battle royales just don't give you the same feeling when you get a perfect kill or when you get a win. It's not that same rush that PUBG has. And that's because the formula of PUBG, how hard it is to actually get that win if you're just an average player, how hard it is to finally get that chicken dinner or even to get that one kill that's so perfect. It's very hard for games to replicate this, and that's one reason why I don't think any of these new upcoming games is going to kill PUBG. The only way that I see PUBG dying is just of old age, which basically means that it's just been out so long that people don't care to play it anymore. There's way too many games out there. You know, people move on. People play different games. It's going to happen to everybody. Or if for some reason some updates come out that are completely terrible, they change up the game too much, and they're not listening to player feedback, which I don't see happening. If there's one thing that PUBG Corp does, is they listen to the players and they try and implement the feedback as best as they possibly can. Do they always get it right? Is everything always 100% polished as soon as it comes out? No. But they're trying, and they try and get these things working the best they possibly can, as fast as they possibly can, to try and please us, the consumers. I'm sure in these comments I'm going to be called a fanboy. I'm going to get a whole bunch of arguments saying that PUBG is really dead and all these other games are going to kill it, and that's perfectly fine. You guys can comment whatever you want. I'm not here to argue, I'm just here to give you my opinion. I don't think that any of these games coming up are going to kill PUBG. Will they trim the player base a little bit? Of course, any new game that comes out that's going to be popular is going to trim the player base. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm always interested to read your comments and have some discussions. Like I said, I'm not here to argue, I just wanted to give my opinion. A lot of people are saying this over and over on my videos, so I wanted to get a video out here, express my opinion just so you guys know where I stand. And if you have a problem with that, that's perfectly fine. Like they say, different strokes for different folks. As always, remember to like the video if you found it useful or liked it in any way, and subscribe to stay up to date on everything PUBG Xbox. Follow me on Twitter and join my Discord, the links are in the description below. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, I'll see you later.